Hello friends, welcome to my channel Sushant. Today we are at the next topic, that is based on calculation training, and yet again we are going to look at some focal points of attack. So far we have discussed various points in front of the black king where we have tried to focus our attack on. This is the position with white to play. As we see the position, we can realize that plenty of black squares g7, h6, e7 are weak in front of the black king. f7 is covered by the knight and white rooks are trying to enter into the enemy position via g5. But the problem is that the pawn on g6 is right now stopping the entry of the rooks. So white, of course, has 2 points here. One is the point g7, the whole diagonal we can say, and second is the square g8. So white's obvious move is knight g6. This is the focal point of attack here in order to enter into the position. This requires some calculation though, because knight g6, hg, rook g6, we see that the threat is rook g8, ke7, rook g7 check, kd8 and c7, which would mate soon. Let's see the moves. Knight g6, h take g6, rook g6. But the big problem here is many people fail to identify the move qh7. After qh7, it's not very easy to prove the point. The threat is rook g8, ke7, rook g7 check. If knight g7, then bishop f6 would win on the spot. After kd8, there is c7 check, winning on the spot. But black was counting on the move rook h7, where the square g7 and g8 is well guarded. What would you do as white over here? Q g5, adding pressure on g8, and there is additional threat here. The queen wants to penetrate through the f6 square. Black went e5, bishop takes e5, and black tries bishop e6, bringing more control on g8. What would you do as white over here? White had a clear-cut idea when he played qg5. The bishop on e5 helps to finish off the game. See, there comes queen f6 check, rook f7 or bf7, whatever is played, there is rg8 check. And after rg8, qg8, rook g8, king takes g8, queen h8 mates. Black had sufficient material for the queen, but the king couldn't survive. So white won the game. Let's look at the next position. So let's have a look at the second position here. It's white to play. The position is really looking like crazy because see, both sides are some way or the other looking in a superior state. See, black is looking almost winning over here because knight moves, there will be queen check and he would win the game. Look at the black king on the other hand. Black king has no place to move, and we can see that some backrank ideas can emerge. Here the square b6 turns out to be the focal point, main point where white is looking to use some tactics. So nb6 check is there, main candidate. Apart from that, no other candidate, because almost everything either allows knight e2 or knight h3. So white goes knight b6 check here. But what is the point? See, the first point is after a takes b6, it's very easy. It plays into white's hand. The point is that after a takes b6, there we see a mating pattern. Rook a2 check, kb8, bishop e5 check. And see, generally in Greco's mate, what happens? The king is in the corner and the rook check mates. The king cannot go to b8. Here it's other way around. After kc8, rook a8 checkmates because of the pawn on e6. So this is by no means forced, but what happens to the move kb8? Let's see that. Thus after nb6, black played kb8. What would you play as white here? See, white had seen the very unreal looking rook h2. The problem is that, see, now the queen cannot leave from h1, queen cannot give check, qg2, rg2, fg2, kg1 just wins. And after qh2, another sacrifice follows, that is bishop e5 check. But still it looks as if after giving up the queen on e5, knight d7, queen is lost. Still black has an extra pawn, but quite calculated further. Let's see. Bishop e5 check, queen takes e5 forced, knight d7 check, kc7, knight e5. See, now what has happened? The tables have turned because knight on g1 is hanging, and as soon as the knight moves, there comes e7, and see, the pawn promotes to queen. King cannot go to d7 or d8. and white queens. So here there were two weaknesses, mainly the square b6 and the king lacking space. So we could say the dark squares were also weak. The queen lacked space on the h1 square. I hope you are finding these lessons useful and instructive. Do let me know in the comments below. Thanks for your time.